I think that the ECB is making a mistake because the challenges of economic growth of the Eurozone have nothing to do with liquidity. And by maintaining very aggressive repurchases and maintaining a position in which the ECB, in effect, is more than 100% of the net issuances of sovereign borrowers, the big problem is that they are actually getting the economy in a stagnation process, because there is an incentive for governments to continue to be imprudent in fiscal policy, and there is an incentive to continue to increase debt, but the economy doesn't strengthen. And the reason why the economy doesn't strengthen is because it's nothing to do with the ECB's policy. It's not about monetary policy, it's about fiscal policy. So the problem that the ECB faces is that it is doing pretty much what it did between 2009 and 2011, which is to be way too dovish in an environment in which the economic problems of the Eurozone have nothing to do with liquidity or with monetary policy and everything to do with fiscal policy.
So what does this all mean then from a market perspective in your view? I mean, if you are watching the show as an investor, how do you play the 2022 year?
I think that 2022 is going to be pretty similar to 2019, and you have to look from that perspective to the US. You have to pay attention to the positives that come from US equities. I believe that US equities will outperform European equities and Latin American equities. Asia is also a preferred area for us. We believe also that the dollar will continue to strengthen because the shortage of dollars that existed in the global economy has actually increased in 2021, and we see tremendous pressures on many emerging market currencies. So I think that United States equities and the dollar, as well as developed economies relative to emerging ones, will likely be the scenario in which I would recommend to invest. So being relatively prudent about the cycle, but at the same time relatively bullish about an outcome of that will definitely help investors that are looking for attractive opportunities in equities. So don't look for the losers of 2021 to invest. Look for the winners, because I believe that growth will continue to outperform value.
That's interesting, because we have seen this resurgence recently in value cyclical trades over the last month or so. But for the year, obviously, growth stocks have been the big outperformers. So your take is interesting. Don't look at the ones that have underperformed necessarily in 2021, but just look forward.
Yes, because many times when we hear about value stocks, and obviously there are opportunity in value stocks, but not as a theme in general. Why? Because the cycle is turning. So you need to bet on a cycle strengthening, on an economic growth and inflation rising much faster in order to continue to play the most cyclical stocks that are embedded in the value segment. But at the same time, many of these so-called value stocks, particularly in Europe, are not actually value. They're just value traps, which means that they trade at optically low multiples, but in reality they are very expensive because they're not generating growth, they're not generating returns above their cost of capital. And there's one important risk for the markets for 2022 is that in general, if we look at the estimates of earnings growth for the stock 600, also for the S&P 500, but at least the S&P 500 has a tremendous level of buybacks, the earnings downgrades are going to be significant. So you have to be prudent precisely with those stocks that require not just a boost in the economy, but a boost in the economy in earnings, in margins, and inflation.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, leave your comments below, and keep defending freedom. Thank you very much.